Hello.
My old friend, how are you this evening?
Hey, buddy, what's up, to?
Well, I'm sitting out here in the middle of a very large thunder and lightning storm. That's where I'm at right now. Am I here now?
I ain't got nothing here but this old cloudy skies, man. But that's all good and dandy.
Well, it'll be there soon. I tell you
Well,
what,
I'm sure it will be.
It will be. I can assure you it will be. I heard that it eased up on us. But now let's ease back on to Delphi for a moment. You ready for that?
Sure, man. Go ahead. Let's hear about it.
There's probably thunder and lightning in my background right now. It's like a very big thunderstorm, and I'm outside. So, all right. So, there's been a few things pop up recently, and it's another. The ISP, the Indiana State Police, have released another bulletin regarding the Anthony. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Well, I'm not sorry to Anthony Shots for sure, but that there's been a new bulletin released on Anthony Shots, and it's about this. Apparently, there have been some recent findings from the ISP on Anthony Shots' presence on a online social system. I think it's France-based. It's called Yubo, or it was, and now it's Yellow, or it was Yellow, and now it's Yubo, or something like that. So they're trying to discover if anybody in the general listening population of their bulletins, and I hope that we're probably one of them. There's a lot of people here from Indiana, actually. One of our best friends is from Indiana. But so, there's people. We just want to get the word out on this Anthony Shots account. That's really kind of what everybody's trying to do right now. Everybody wants to talk about their particular speculation on who Bridge Guy is and all that. And really, I started thinking about it, and I started going to some other podcasts, ones that I respected and a whole lot. And they're not really speculating enough. They're just talking about the development that's going on and maybe diving deep on some things and maybe having other people explain it. But everybody's trying to be patient with law enforcement right now because that's what they've kind of asked us to do is, help us get the word out on what we're talking about because it's a very crucial point in the case. Apparently, law enforcement feels like that they have gotten to the point to where they are getting close to something. I don't know what it is. I mean, all that we've been able to see so far is that, sometimes on February the 13th, 2017, Abby and Liberty went for a walk at Mountain High Bridge in Delphi, Indiana, and they were talking and taking pictures and putting them on Snapchat, which means they had service on the bridge. And then after that, they recorded a video with some guy that said down the hill. And now we've learned that there's a new profile picture of the killer that was released in 2019. That's kind of the newest picture that we have of the guy. And that now we have some information that there's Anthony Shots' account that was last spoke to at least one of these young ladies, to these girls, these children, on that day in 2017, February 13th. And it seems to be that they are nailing down communication that may have occurred that day. And it looks like, we can't blame any particular person because even the documents that have been released surreptitiously or by accident have indicated that that multiple people may have had access to the account and that law enforcement is doing what they can to hammer that in. And again, they're asking for help for anybody that may have been on, I think it was Yubo, now on Yellow back then, or the vice versa of that. But it's an online communication tool that you do video and such with. So that's kind of what's going on. I mean, if you just analyze exactly what the ISP talks about, that's kind of a quick synopsis of what's going on, including the new release. What do you think? What do you think about it?
Well, I mean, I have to consider, like you talking about with the information that's been released slowly over time, it's been investigated. You know, speculation only goes so far. And, you know, hey, we beat a dead horse a time or two our own selves. I mean, only because we think of a new twist for our own little pet theories. And everybody does it. And thankfully, it's at the point of, you know, we are seeing a little progress. But now, I also have to point out that, you know, it ain't like the CSI shows. And just like you're talking about, when you've got an account that has been shown to be accessed with multiple people, you have to wait until that can be slowly investigated, and that does take a lot of time. You know, I mean, we would love to see action immediately and this and that, but that may not be the case. And so the detectives, you know, I know they feel pressure because of podcasters like ourselves trying to keep it awake, keep it stirred up. You know, so I mean, I have no doubt they're trying. We get a little frustrated because we would like to see a little more of the things they could release, but you know, that's us just wanting to be nosy more than anything. You know, the professionals are doing their job, but I also believe they have released a lot of that stuff and doing small updates, and maybe even because of the speculation of people like ourselves just coming up with random little ideas, triggered something in one of these professional detectives that has led to this kind of slow little new break that they're releasing these things. I would like to think, you know, us as a community that, you know, talk about this a lot, had a hand in it, but at the very end of the day, it don't matter if anybody gets any credit other than that family gets their closure that they should need and should get, and the person that is responsible should get punished for it. But I know the whole community would love to see it done. So, you know, I'm with you there.
Oh yeah. I mean, it is. It's huge. If this is kind of getting close to the end, and we all hope it is. We don't know that it is. We have no idea. But it sounds the most promising thing that's been going on in years. I mean, it's been like since before the pandemic, since we really heard about it a whole lot. So, and maybe everything's getting kicked back up. You know, the other day we were talking about spring being kicked up, and we were talking about, just after the pandemic awakening. You know, so I'm hoping that we're headed in the right way. I think that them releasing this may kind of be narrowing things down some, because the person that used that account that may have been like a secondary or tertiary user, I mean, they could have expanded it and moved it further and kind of played upon it, you know, and kind of used its nobility as such to help. So I'm hoping that the funnel is getting very small and that they're getting the person inside, you know.
All right. Well, I want to ask you something, and you know, you are a lot more, you know, into doing the research and that kind of thing of this particular event, and like, you know, again, kind of going back to the dead horse, we've discussed it. Where would someone who just is just interested, I mean, I know you posted links, you said things, but, you know, what about the things that you can't find as far as information that maybe could lead somebody wanting to get a little more research in to find out the new updates? Where do you go? You know, who would you plug to, you know, kind of pay attention to? We'll kind of go here and look for these things and those kind of things. Because, again, you're kind of the more research on this, even though, you know, I'd read what you kind of send me. So what do you think?
Well, number one is ISP and FBI. Those are really the only ones we've ever posted about. We have dealt in a periphery way to other people's speculation. But now it looks like they're really narrowing down, not really the people who created Anthony Shots, but the Anthony Shots account. And they kind of planted this seed as a gardener would. You know, they tilled the ground, they, you know, dug the rows, they planted the seeds, they pruned and harvested and sold their products as this Anthony Shots account. It all kind of boils down to that. It's really what it all boils down to. This, like they went all around this thing, and it looks like that now in the latter years, since around 2019 or so, it looks like there's been, actually since the very beginning, they were exploring this thing, this Anthony Shots account. These people that created it were invaded 2 or 3 days after it all occurred. Of course, and those releases that are actually it was produced through the murder sheets, but they found those transcripts and it all of those things. All that I saw from all of that is that Kegan, and I've always called him Keegan, but his name was Kegan. I like Keegan better, so I'm gonna call him Keegan just because I'm ornery like that. But
hey, you can call him my precious. I'm okay with that too. Gollum, hey, get with it, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, it's all been around him and him turning other people in. It's like he in the first interview he did back in 2020 that was released through the murder sheets, and there's one new podcaster I want to talk about, but he talked about it back then that no one would have had access to it except for anyone, and then later he released that maybe his dad had some kind of access to it. That was in December of 2021, and now we've not heard anything except from the ISP, and these are all ISP. These are files that come directly from them that I talk about. Okay.
Right.
That have that stamp on them, whether they were surreptitiously released or whatever, it doesn't make a difference. They're still out there.
Right. Yeah. But, well, I mean, just that's kind of where we're trying to only really seriously discuss the certified documents, but as far as the speculation, there are good to kind of give you ideas if you want to be speculating on it. Anyway, please continue.
Okay, well, the one I was going to say is I'm tying back to her is that, I mean, there's all kinds of ones. I mean, there's a lot of people with skin in this game. There's a newer podcaster that I've spoken about before, and I think she does lots of live shows. She's got the credibility, her history of with things with children and stuff. But I kind of listen to what she does, and she has a really great moderator group that goes in, and they all try their best to keep things on point. So Christian Behind the Crime Door is whom I would listen to. I listen to most of her live shows. But now, but there's not a lot I listen to. There's a lot of people in it that are just absolutely way out there. There's people that are looking at pictures up under bridges and.
I mean, there is there is the line of credibility in terms of and that's what I was saying is we try to follow officially certified, leaked, officially leaked, accidentally leaked, walked out in my pocket leaked, official more documents, so I'm with you. There is a lot of conspiracies that can lead you down rabbit holes and have you looking at people in Colorado, so try to stay away from that kind of stuff. But now, talking about, like, you had made a comment near the beginning of, me calling him Gollum and those kind of things about, Keegan and them using Keegan. And, you had asked once before about that, and we had discussed the murder sheet release in that conversation. And I had kind of thought of a new angle to maybe what's going on with, because I had said from the beginning, it's like, man, this interview just don't sound right. It just looks like it's a staged interview. And what I'm thinking is okay, so if we accept a few statements and facts that seem to be true based on the evidence we have, that there was an account, multiple people had access to it. Now, by them doing some of the things they've done with him, what I would think is they caught him with some little something where they can nail it. They know he didn't actually have anything to do with the girls, but the interviews and the little bits and pieces and the conversations about him and that kind of stuff is all to elicit responses from some of the other people that did have access to it, and they're using him as a stalking horse. You know what I'm saying? Slowly little tidbits that like, oh man, he's fixing to say my name, even if he knows nothing about it. And, so I kind of wonder when we were talking about some of these being red herrings, some of these releases and, and things that, maybe they were, that they're releasing these things. Oh, well, I threw my dad under the bus. Who else am I going to throw under the bus? Those kind of things. And so that was kind of my new idea of like why some of that stuff is released. How about you?
Well, I'm going to hope that you're right. I hope that whomever was responsible for this is feeling the more pressure than any human being has ever felt in the world. I hope that they're lying in bed at night worried about who's about to knock on that door. In fact, I wish they would go ahead and end all that and just go to the police station and turn themselves in. Get this shit over with. Give this family some closure. That's all
No. But for an individual that, you know, was just worthless. I mean, just, you know, the worthless sack of meat that people would call a male, or, you know, I couldn't call it a man because a man couldn't act like that. I mean, just apparently a shriveled husk that must need to terrorize little girls. You know, they would never go turn themselves in because, you know, they felt so empowered by doing it. And then the fact that they've got away with it this long, it would take a lot more pressure, you know. And again, I think, you know, them applying that kind of pressure to a true suspect would probably be an indication, because like we say, this is a popular case. You know, there's always, quote, paparazzi. I'll call it paparazzi, but you know what I'm talking about.
They run down
would be watching. Yeah, they would be always keeping eyes out. And as soon as they saw any type of, you know, pressure applied to somebody, it wouldn't be no time. So, you know, I mean, that's, yeah.
Hey, you and I personally have been put in the crosshairs before. In fact, it's a listener even told us, it's like, you're not even really having any skin in the game unless you've been blamed for it. Because you should be vetted. If you're talking about this, law enforcement is vetting you. And, you know, so like you said, if you're involved in this in any way or the other, you should be vetted. Because there's somebody out there that knows who this is, and they're extremely interested in it, probably in a way that we're not, a different way, but they're always watching it. There's somebody that walks like that. There's someone that talks like that. There's someone that was in that town that day. There was somewhere that knew that area a little bit. There's someone that could use a knife and a whatever kind of weapon. And there's someone who did this, and they should be caught.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, now, one more comment on this, and we're running a little short on time, but I want to say this and give you an opportunity to say anything. The opposite to what I was saying as far as, like, you know, he feels empowered by what he did and, you know, this kind of thing. And chicken, you know, because of it, could also have the reverse of this is because, you know, us making a thing and making, you know, demanding so much justice, the some bitches, hopefully, and this is actually what I hope while he's sitting there waiting to be caught, I hope he's sitting there feeling watched, scared, and just knows he's going to be found out at any second. I want it to gnaw at him night and day, keep him up, wake up at loud, small noises. I want him to think that. That's the way I hope he is until he gets caught, not just standing around going, yeah, look what I got away with. That's just my opinion, but, you know, hey.
As ISP said, at any moment now it could happen. Hope it happens to him. Donald, it's great to see you, my friend.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.